everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Hades Beer Corner. Today we have another quite special beer. This is extra special beer, I think, because this is from Ukraine, and this beer has been or was brewed and is being brewed as of right now in the town of Dnipro, which is close to the occupied zone in the eastern parts of Ukraine, uh, occupied by the Russian Federation illegally in intruded the country a couple of years ago. But let's go. Now, the beer for today is Anti-Imperial Stout by Mova Brewing Co. Uh, Brewing Company. Uh, Founded in Dnipro in 2018, and the bottle says crafts beverages that connect people through communication. They have an Instagram page, mova.beer, and website mova.beer. And it says the small text probably doesn't, you can't probably see it in on the screen, but it says strong as Ukrainian courage, 7.2% ABV or alcohol by volume. This is imperial stout type of beer, or this falls in that category, but it's called anti-imperial because opposing the Russian imperialism, uh, trying to overtake the Ukrainian government and the area of internationally recognized international nation of Ukraine. But that's another talking point for my main channel, maybe at some point, but who knows? We'll see. So, stout, what is it? What is an imperial stout? What's the difference? And where does stout come from? Well, stout is a type of dark ale that is generally warm fermented, that is up to plus 15 to 24 degrees Celsius, and some up to over 30, maybe 35 degrees Celsius in some instances. And stout comes in a variety of different styles of stouts, such as dry stout, oatmeal stout, milk stout, and imperial stout. Now, the name stout, when used for a dark beer, came about when strong porters were marketed as stout porter, and it refers to the strength. Basically, stouts or stout porters were the type of uh, strong porter type beers which came about from the workers of the London docks in England, and the stout porter name later shortened to just stout. And for example, Guinness Extra Stout was originally called Extra Superior uh, Porter and was not given the name Extra Stout until 1840. And today, the terms stout and porter are used by some breweries almost interchangeably. However, the stouts and porters nowadays are two distinct type of beer, two different, very different types of beer nowadays after a few hundred years. Um, However, some idiotic breweries, idiotic in my opinion, um, describe use stouts and porter interchangeably to describe dark beers that they make and have more in common than in distinction. And the first known use for the word stout comes for a beer comes from Egerton manuscripts dated in 1677, just where it refers to the strength. And these stout porters were typically maybe up to 10-15%, and nowadays maybe even more in when it comes to imperial stouts. However, this is a bit milder version of imperial stout, and this is in the strength range of a typical stout, and a non-imperial stout. And the history and development of stout and porter are thus intertwined. As for the term imperial stout, this type of stouts were stronger than, as mentioned, than regular stouts, and even more so for porters. And the name imperial stouts came from the fact that these beers were initially exported from England to the imperial court of Catherine the Great of Russia, and hence the Ukrainians make anti-imperial stout. So I opened the bottle, I peeled off the wax from from which was covering the cork, and there is, besides the marking 7.2% alcohol by volume, there's also the measurement 22 Plato. That is the scale of Plato, degrees Plato is simply the measurement of the amount of sugars in the wort, and the most widely used are degrees Plato, which is most widely used and the newest version, and the original was degrees Bolling, and then which was developed in the early 1800s, and then in the 1850s there was the scale made by a German math engineer, a guy named Briggs, and he got the degrees Briggs, which is essentially the amount. They measure the same thing, uh, the amount of sugars in the wort from which the beer is made. Now let's have a taste. It's, as you can see, it's very dark, well, pretty much black. It gives a thick head or foam. It's quite light head. The smell is quite sweet and fruity. So let's go. Really good. Sweet. Um, a bitter aftertaste, which comes from the really roasted malts and the hops. Dark roast malts. It's really light for reasonably light for a beer like such as a stout, or especially an imperial stout, but yet it's quite sweet, which is typical uh, for an imperial stout, but yet quite roasty and bitter. Bitter. It's quite bitter, the aftertaste. I highly recommend. I say an 8 out of 10. Really good. Thank you very much for watching. Uh, Welcome back. Next time, check the links in the description box down below, and I'll be putting some notes on that corner up there. And I'll see you in the next video. Check my previous videos.